Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Joe Biden's news regarding his health just went from bad to worse. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. Dr. Ronny Jackson, the former White House doctor for both President Obama and President Donald Trump, who is now a Republican representative, said that in his opinion, looking at Biden's charts and what he knows publicly of President Biden's information, and he's not aware of anything privately. He's not one of his doctors. He never was one of his doctors, and I need to point that out. But he was a White House doctor. According to him, he says that President Biden tops, and this is best case scenario, has 18 months to live. That is tragic news. What's even more, not more tragic, but also tragic, is that President Biden has not had a PSA test since 2014. 2014. President Obama, he gave his PSA results with every one of his physicals. President Trump gave his PSA results with every one of his physicals. President Biden, as president, did not give a single solitary PSA result with his physicals, and it brings the question of when did he know? When did the people around him know? And what did they do about it? How incapacitated was this man? Who was making the decisions in the White House? There's so many questions, so few answers. I want you guys to watch this video and let me know what you think in the comments.
There's trouble in paradise. Who knows? All right, a new development as we learn more about former President Biden's cancer diagnosis. A spokesperson says his last known PSA test was more than 10 years ago. That test checks the blood for a specific protein that may indicate the presence of prostate cancer. It is not recommended for all ages. Quite the contrary. The 82-year-old Biden was diagnosed Friday with an aggressive form of the cancer that's now spread to his bones. Our Dr. Sanjay Gupta is back today to answer some of your questions about prostate cancer. Sherry in New York wrote, why is the PSA test not recommended for men older than 70, Sanjay?
I think there's two primary reasons here. First of all, the majority of prostate cancers are slow growing. So once you get beyond a certain age, it's sort of a question is this prostate cancer going to grow enough in my lifetime to be a problem? Now, this is subjective. Obviously, people are living longer. There are people who are 70 who may have 30 years to live and others who may have 10 years to live. So it's just sort of recommended screening advice. The other thing I want to tell you, John, when it comes to the PSA test, it's not a perfect test by any means. In fact, to give you a little bit of context for that, only about 25% of men who have a biopsy due to elevated PSA actually end up having prostate cancer. So the vast majority of people who get, a procedure because their PSA is going up don't end up actually having a problem. So that's part of, I think, what feeds into this as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my doctor told me, right? He said you have to consider the fact that you may end up with a procedure that you're going to regret having had. That's just what you need to think about going in. Noel wrote, my father had prostate cancer. Does this increase my risk of getting the disease?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. There is a genetic component to this. And so overall, it's about 2 times increased risk if you have a first-degree relative who has prostate cancer. I will say that if it's your brother, it increases the risk even a little bit more than father. But there's definitely a genetic component to this.
Robert in Seattle has a similar question then. He says, who should screen for prostate cancer and when?
Yeah, so